Oh, okay. Well, welcome everybody, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping, where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us this week. Well, I'm as surprised as anyone, but this is our second trip to Louisiana Fairgrounds, and we're still not handicapping camels. The pick four starts with race number 10 to start it off. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts from New York this week. So I'm going to start right next door over here in Temecula, California, with my good friend Joe English. Joe, I have not talked to you in a couple of weeks. How you been doing?
Doing good, Rich. Job's going well. New job's going well anyway. Missed doing the show last week, but and missed having you. So welcome back. Doing okay. How's everything by you?
Well, same, right back at you. The job is going well. A lot of exciting stuff going down in San Diego, so I drive a little bit further than you every day. I think it seems like it's been months since I felt like I did the show. In and out of hospitals. Kind of happy to be back. Tonight we are missing our third broke guy, Ray Torado. Ray was not feeling well, but thanks to the wonders of social media and everything else, we actually have all of his picks. So we will go ahead and share those with everybody, and we'll Ray in our pick four selection. Let's see. Time for a brief weather update in New Orleans. The weather actually looks beautiful. It is the forecast for Saturday is in the 70s. There's a 0% chance of rain, so unseasonably warm for New Orleans, and really shouldn't be any problems there. There are 13 races that are on tap. These are all Louisiana breds. I couldn't actually count up the number of stakes races. I missed the total number of stakes races. I know that we've got 3 stakes spread races in the last pick four there. So, Joe, we've got the gates locked and loaded. Shall we go ahead and get started?
No problem. Let's go.
Race number 10, the approximate post time is 5:51 p.m. Eastern time. So for those of you who are here on the West Coast, that's 2:51 here. This is the Louisiana Champion Day Juvenile Stakes. They're going 6 furlongs on the main track. The purse is $100,000 for 2-year-old colts and geldings only. And it's for accredited Louisiana breds. They're all for accredited Louisiana breds today. 9 starters, and your morning line favorite at 3-1 is in post number 9. Saints Fan, ridden by Brian Hernandez and trained, bred, and owned by Dallas Stewart. Probably his pet when he doesn't get raced. Joe, when in New Orleans, why not a Saints fan, right?
Well, if you live there, generally you are. I mean, I know a guy who lives out here in Temecula who plays basketball with me who's from Louisiana, and he's a Saints fan, so absolutely. It's an interesting first race, and I know we have the Brisnet PPs up on the screen, but I actually want to give a nod to Formulator because I'm going to give you a stat at the end of my top pick, and I gleaned this from Formulator. So if you ever get a chance to use it, and if you have the time, of course, you can look into it and delve into it and find some interesting statistics. I'm going with the favorite. I'm going with Saints Fan. 3-1 in the morning line. He was impressive in the debut at Churchill Downs. He drew nicely on the outside. He should be able to basically choose to make his move whenever he wants. One of the horses he beat, the horse Proforma, who finished third in his debut, came back to win, earning an 82 buyer speed figure on the 27th of November. He has the best buyer speed figure in this race by it's a comfortable probably 3 lengths. And I wanted to, here's the stat that I found and I uncovered. With 2-year-old first-time starters over the last 5 years, Dallas Stewart is 1 for 48. The 1 for 48 is the horse you're looking at now, the number 9 Saints Fan. So if he's good enough to overcome being that Dallas Stewart generally doesn't send them out to win first time out, and he won pretty handily at Churchill Downs. I think he's definitely more talented than probably any horse. Well, I don't want to say any horse in his barn, but maybe any 2-year-old in his barn for sure, and maybe any 2-year-old he's trained over the past 5 years. So I'm going with the 9. I originally wasn't on that bandwagon, but when I saw that stat, I was like, wow, that's a pretty interesting number. And it's not like it's a small sample size. 0 for 8, 0 for 9, fine, so be it. But it's over 5 years, and it's 0 for 47 until Saints Fan actually won that race. So I'm going with him. I'm not confident enough in a horse that is facing winners for the first time, even though he's got a big buyer speed figure advantage. And I'm not sure about it looks like he's got a little bit of an advantage in the last time out from the Brisnet figures. So I couldn't really single him. Plus, I think there is a horse in here who does have a pace advantage, and that's the 5. Speaking of Saints, Laughing Saints Song. Florent Giroux gets up first time, disappointed at 7-10, facing winners for the first time. But he was in a duel. He got caught in a duel, and he finished better than the other speed horse that day. And I don't really see much speed in this lineup, at least not enough that's going to keep this horse from getting the lead. The only thing about this horse is that the horse has to carry the speed a furlong farther than he's ever done it before, and he's got to go from the bull ring at Delta Downs to the big track at Fairgrounds. But at 5-1 with Florent Giroux, I think he's worth using on the ticket. Saints Fan is really my only A choice. Laughing Saints Song would be a B. And I also like a little bit the number 6, Just Do, for the Merrill Scher, Francisco Torres jockey trainer combo. He actually has won a race at the meet, and he's beaten winners before. And maybe the race 2 back wasn't what he really wanted to do. Maybe he doesn't want to necessarily be in front. I kind of think maybe he was better with having a target this time. And this time around, he's going to have the 5 to run at. He'll probably get first run on Saints Fan. And this is Just Do's third off the layoff, and second time Francisco Torres, which is an angle I usually like. Second time with a jockey, only because if the jock's never ridden the horse, and even in the morning, and maybe they have, but knowing what the horse does when the lights are on, actually, I think you get a lot better. You get a lot more. The jock has a lot more knowledge of the horse the second time around. So those would be my picks. The 9 really is my only A pick, Saints Fan, and the 5 and the 6, Laughing Saints Song and Just Do would be B choices for me. What did you think? What did you think of this Champions Day Juvenile, Rich?
Initially, I before you started talking, my friend, I had it down as a 2-horse race. So the other horse that I would have thrown in addition to the one that you liked the most, would have been Jack Snipes. I kept getting this wrong, as I was saying it earlier today. So, trained by Gary Shearer and Donnie Michi. Again, if you look at the horse's first 3 races, 2 for 3. Again, a little bit of early pace in there, can handle it up there. Went right from this is Canterbury. Went right from Canterbury in a maiden special rate, jumped right up to a little stakes race at Canterbury. Finished 4 lanes back, but horse came right back to win right after that. Came right back out of that one again, back to win at the allowance level. So, in my opinion, this horse has won at their maiden special rate, won at the allowance level, and it's just been denied twice at this, this state run race. So, this fail is favorite. I'm not crazy about that angle. Here is the failed is favorite. But I did think that Jack Snipes was worth a second choice. I did have them 8-9. I had it as a 2-horse race initially. I really do like the angle with Dallas Stewart. Everybody heard it as I started there. So when you get a good trainer, and that trainer is also the owner, that trainer is also the breeder, brings them out for their first time win and things like that. As I pointed out, for all you know, this is the horse that gets fed the carrots and gets pet and everything else and hangs out in the living room on the couch with everything else that we also. Dallas would have been my top pick in this one, but I did like the 8 a lot. So I had the 8 and the 9 kind of initially in listening to Joe, and that was a great stat that you had there. I kind of moved them up to a little bit more like the 9 on top with the 8 underneath. So those are my 2 picks. And as always, our friend Mr. Torado drives in with a little keno ticket here, and Ray likes a couple of the horses that I like. He also likes the 9 with the same fan, but he has included the 6, and I know I heard the 6 mentioned on your ticket as well, Joe, which was new. And I heard, I see the number 3 is on his ticket, so he's got Philly in there, and then he also has the 8, Jack Snipes. So 9, 6, 3, 8 for Ray. You've got me. I've got the 9 with the 8 underneath right now, and Joe, I believe you've got the 9 with the 6 and the 5 underneath.
Yes, that's correct.
There we go. I'll go ahead and come back to you guys here for just a second, please. Even though I look awful, and I apologize for anybody out there who's looking at me saying, wow, he really does look awful. Race number 11. This is the Louisiana Champion Day Ladies Sprint Stakes. And again, they're going 6 furlongs on the main track. First is $100,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. 13 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 6. It's Illusion Artist, trained by Brad Cox and ridden by Alvarado. By Robbie Alvarado. So this is an invader from Kentucky. Joe, is Illusion Artist for real?
Well, he's undefeated, so you can't take anything away from him on his record. He's never been beaten, so until he is, you can't really. I guess he's got to be for real. I don't know whether the illusion is for real, but the horse is for real. And this race was a tough race for me. I couldn't really make heads or tails of a lot of the runners in the field. I ended up with 3 horses who I guess I would qualify as A-/B+ picks. There wasn't really anybody I could single. Illusion Artist is one of those. Again, undefeated. 2 of those wins with Robbie Alvarado up. He beat 2 stakes-placed runners in that last race. Blip in the Bye finished second in the 8 Bells behind Karina Mia earlier in the year, and Banry finished second in the Schuylerville to off the tracks up at Saratoga, and third in the Tempted, and that was in 2015. So he's faced some good ones, or she's faced some good ones. And the jockey trainer combination, it was 35%, at least on in my records, and like you see there, 39% over the last 60 days. So obviously Cox and Alvarado have a good relationship, and that's probably why this horse is the morning line favorite, as well as being undefeated. So she's definitely one of the horses that I would be using on my ticket. My top pick actually turned out to be the horse inside of Illusion Artist, and that's the 5 Ramona's Wildcat for Tom Amos and Florent Giroux. In the money every start this year, 7 for 7. Connections are good, obviously. Amos has a positive ROI over the past year at Fairgrounds. First time Florent Giroux can't be a bad thing. No disrespect to any of the riders who've ridden him before, but Florent Giroux seems like he's a little bit on a little different level than the guys have been riding this filly, at least since she left Southern California. Two back, the race Ramona's Wildcat ran, Fioretti and actually Spelling Again, who she actually beat, both ended up in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint. So obviously she's been running against some good ones too. So I have to give her a chance with a little bit of class, and again with Florent Giroux getting up. I did actually like a third horse, and that's the 12. Look into my eyes for the Loza Nieves jockey trainer combination, 5-1. The horse is 7 for 13 lifetime, 4 for 5 at the distance, and 2 for 3 at Fairgrounds. All good numbers. And actually, she beat Wheatfield, who's also in this field, convincingly at Louisiana Downs in a stake bred stakes back in August. Second off the bench for this trainer. And just looking again, I'll give a nod to Formulator. Over the past 30 days, I get Efren Loza, I guess is the name. He's 6 for 11 over the last 30 days. So he's been sending out winners. He's been winning at Delta Downs and at Gulfstream Park West, formerly Calder. But obviously the barn is in good form. So if there's a horse that's going to be able to step up into this and get the job done, like I said, she's got a pretty good record. I'm not thrilled about the 12 hole, but like I said, she's more like my third choice. But again, they were really hard to separate for me. So I went 5, 6, and 12 in this spot, Rich.
5, 6, and 12. And before I get to my picks, I will let you guys know that Ray has chimed in with the 5 and the 6 here. We've got Mr. Corrado on record with the 5 and the 6, which is the exact inverse of what I have here because I've got the 6 and the 5. I did like this horse, Sunny Oak, a little bit, and Joe kind of touched on the reason I ended up tossing her. Just that outside post. The turns at the Fairgrounds can be a little bit tight. They do come up kind of quick. And being out there in post number 13, the horse does have a little bit of quickness, but I just could not see Sunny Oak being able to get over quick enough. Mm-hmm. I did like the 12 that Joe had just mentioned as well. I actually was going to single here with Illusio and Artist. You've heard me say it before. Beware those unbeaten horses. Just wait till you beat them. And Joe already alluded to the fact that the competition that this horse has been facing, going from Indiana to Keeneland to Churchill Downs, against some of the best horses in the country. And so I really did like the 6 here. Ramona's Wildcat is about the closest thing I can find to a California horse. Has a lot of early speed, has the ability to sit a trip. looked like something really special last year in 2015 when we first started here in Southern California. And so I would go 6'5". I've got Joe down here with 6'5", 12", and I've got Ray with 5'6". So on a day where you've got some pretty wide open fields, that's probably about as close to a consensus as you're going to find with the big guy. All right, I am coming back to you. And we are going to move on to race number 12. Again, this is the Louisiana Champion Day. This is the Sprint Stakes. They're going 6 furlongs on the main track. The first is $100,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards. Accredited Louisiana breds. 13 starters, and your morning line favorite at 3-1 is in post number 10. It's Giacomo's Song, trained by Michael Stidham and written by Florian Giroux. Joe, if I'm not mistaken, the lyrics to Giacomo's Song go something like, I won the Derby at 50-1, na-na-na-na-na-na.
Unless you had him that day, and then it wasn't, and then it was celebration, toasting, and a cigar or two probably. In this race, this was probably as close as I was going to come to a single in this pick 4 sequence, even though I did like Saints Fan an awful lot. I like the 12, Newbin Ridge, 4-1. Second choice on the morning line. The horse has been consistent this year, and if you look at some of the horses he's been facing, look at AP Indian, who was the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Sprint before being soundly beaten by Drefong. But other horses that the horses face this year are Marking, Joking, and Salutos Amigos. Those are horses that Ray obviously knows better than most of us, being that he's a New Yorker. And this horse is shipping in from New York. The horse won over the track in the prep for this, coming from off the pace. And I think he's just been facing better company than these. And I think he's got a class edge. And I'd take 4-1 every day if I could get it. I'm not sure you're going to get 4-1. This horse may end up being the favorite. If people are reading and basing it on class lines, the horse will probably get bet down. But again, this is as close as I would come to a single on this card. There is one other horse I would want to mention, and that's the 3, Greeley's Wish. I don't know that much about the trainer. Couldn't come up with many statistics through Formulator about the trainer and the jockey combination. I mean, I know John Jacinto a little bit. He's been riding down in Louisiana and in the Midwest for a long time. But the horse was dueled into submission in a fast open allowance race at Delta Downs last time out. So the horse drops back in with state breds. He's 3 for 3 at 6 furlongs. And again, he was a winner versus state breds at Louisiana Downs earlier this year, as you can see on August 16th versus state breds, and the horse was bet that day. He was 5-2 on the morning line, and you're getting 10-1 with that horse, and it's a horse I wouldn't necessarily want to throw out altogether. I still think Newbin Ridge is really the most likely winner and has the biggest class edge. But if I wanted to include a speed horse, I would include the 3, Greeley's Wish. So just the 12 and the 3 for me. And I'll pass it on to Rich. And Rich, maybe you can give a little bit more insight onto any of the other runners in this race.
And I'll be honest, I'm glad to see that at least somebody has a really strong opinion here, because I did not come up with much of anything here. I actually ended up settling back on the chalk, as you guys know, the chalk-eating weasel being my spirit animal. But Michael Stidham, Florian Giroux, Ridge had beaten Giacomo's Song. I'm more than willing to kind of acquiesce my friends here. I noticed that Ray has the 3. Ray actually has the 5 on top. I should start off with the 5 in this one, which is too dim. And then he hits off on the 2 horses that showed you, the 3, 12.
Well, it's funny. I wish Ray were here. I kind of wanted. I would kind of want to hear his opinion about. I guess maybe it's the fact that the 5's been in the money 11 out of 14 at Fairgrounds. You just had the horses' PPs up on the screen. 6 for 14 at Fairgrounds is not a bad record, obviously. And maybe he's just looking for a price in an open race, and maybe that's what his thinking is here. I just look and I see 0 for 13 over the last 2 years, and it's like, okay. I mean, I can understand there is some allure, and I see the second on the prime power, but
yeah.
A horse that hasn't won in 13 starts. I see the stakes company.
I'm also saying this is more of a closing type as well.
Yeah, sure.
along with the Fairgrounds. It seems that the likelihood that someone's going to come from off the pace or from the back is, well, not unheard of. I mean, they're
No.
about 60% or 30% of the time, but the better chance is to get to the front. So.
Yeah.
That was when I saw Giacomo's song, but again, kind of hearing about Newman Ridge, I wanted to go further. So I got you down with the 12 and the 3. I've got Ray down with the 3, the 5, and the 12. I had the 10, and kind of hearing you talking here, I was going to hit up with the 12. But I would defer to you guys and go with the 12.
Well, I mean, I can easily with the first time Giroux angle, I can easily seeing including the 10 as well. It's an angle that I didn't see, but I mean, I look at it and I see Newman Ridge was a head better than Giacomo's song, and it's possible that Giroux could make the difference. Plus, it's third off the layoff for the horse, so I can definitely see using that one.
All right, so 10-12 for Rich, 5-3-12 for Ray, 12-3 for Joe, and we are on to the finale. I have found that for you guys.
He's back.
I'm back. All right. So we got 3 stakes races, and we are going to finish up with a maiden special weight. They are going 6 furlongs on the main track for, again, accredited Louisiana-bred maidens. 2-year-olds only. The purse is $41,000. And Joe, that includes $6,000 to the Louisiana Video Poker Fund. I just wanted you to be aware.
Wow. If I ever go to Louisiana to play poker, I'll know. Thanks.
All right. 15 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 11. It's Outback Jack, trained by Scott Becker and ridden by Robbie Alvarado, 4-1 on the morning line. 15 starters in the finale, as they say down in Cajun land. Joe, over to
you. Well, where am I? I ended up on the second choice in the morning line, I believe, is the number 10, Sean. Simple name, I guess. The horse ran pretty well second time out, second time versus and dropped in versus Louisiana bred. I think the pace setup is positive. The one thing I know about the Fairgrounds, having watched enough races from there, is that even though it's a sprint, closers generally have a tendency to do better. And like you said, Rich, the turns are a little tighter, but the stretch is so long that if you don't ride there, you can make your move too early. And it seems like the only stretch that we know that's longer, and obviously we've been there, is the one at Los Al that they use during the daytime, because that's about, I think that's closer to 2.5 furlongs, whereas the Fairground stretch is a little bit more than 2. So I just think that this horse is a little better than these. And like I said, I'll take 9-2 on the morning line. I think the pace sets up good. I think the horse can sit a nice trip. He's going to get an extra furlong to run today, and he finished the best of the horses that ran in that race on November 19th. And a positive sign for that horse would be if the horse that Ray selected in the 10th race, Philly, runs well, because obviously Philly beat Sean by 3/4 of a length last time out. So it's possible that if you look and you see that Philly ran well, and for whatever reason you're not left in the pick 4 and you want to play somebody later in the card, Sean would be the logical next choice, being that he beat the rest of that field by almost 3 lengths in that second start. I'm also going to use as a B pick the number 2, Lucky Ricky, and it's basically one of Matt Carruthers' favorite angles, is a speed and fade in the debut. The horse was bet well in the debut, and this is really more a trainer angle. Again, had tipped a formulator. Steve Asmussen is 15% with first-time starters over the past 5 years, and he's 23% with second-time starters. So I'm thinking that the horse got a little bit of an education that first time out, and the horse has a chance to improve off that race. Maybe they'll back off, and the horse won't be necessarily on the lead. But again, it's more an Asmussen angle, being that he's just so much better with second-time starters than he is with first. He usually doesn't necessarily win a lot, though 15% is not bad. 23% with second-time starters to me is better. So, and he's a little bit of a price. He's 8-1 morning line. And I'm going to throw in a long shot as well, if we could fit it on the ticket, and that would be the 8. Tune My Guitar, who's 20-1 in the morning line, again for a trainer and jockey combination that I don't know much about. The horse did rally to run a decent race when he split the field after a tough beginning, being off slow, and the horse finished 5th of 8. So the horse did not quit, and it did rally a little bit. And this is more the trainer angle. This barn is, according to the formulator stats, 15% with second-time starters versus 10% with first-time starters. And the guy has a decent ROI with second-time starters as well. So again, just looking for a price in a 2-year-old race, and if the horse can improve at all off that first start, being that he had a little bit of a rough trip, and the horses and the trainer angle is the trainer's just better with second-time starters. And I would never want to talk anybody off a horse they like at 20-1. And again, I don't necessarily like the horse. I just think this is a wide open race where a lot of things can happen. And I'd like to be able to have a price at the end to include, as opposed to just hitting the favorite button every time. So my top 3 picks in order are 10, 2, and 8. The 10 is the one I really want to use on the ticket. And as far as whether we have room, it's 2 and 8 in that order for me. Again, this is a tough race, and 2-year-old Louisiana breds, I'm not sure which way I would necessarily go in any race like this. So I acquiesce to you, Rich. Which way did you go?
I just flipped your shoe around. So I had you kind of already alluded to the angle that I was on. The only thing I wasn't crazy about here is that the David Flores looks like he jumps onto it, and the horse is down a little bit lower. But Flores Asmussen is not necessarily a magic combo anyway. And it could be that maybe Asmussen didn't care for the way Flores rode the horse. The Looky Ricky, that first race, had a little bit of pace early on. And again, the horse tired out. Asmussen is 25%, that second career race. So I was mainly playing the trainer angle here. So I went with the 2 on top. I've got the 10, Sean, the horse that finished second that day. Kind of my backup pick there. And I left the favorite out finally. So I did not use this is the one race so far where I did not use Outback Jack. That being said, I just put in the winner's circle.
Yeah, I didn't use them either. I figured, it's funny because looking back at the PPs, I figured that the horse would be better actually moving from open company in Chicago to state breds against Louisiana breds, and the horse regressed. So that was kind of a negative for me.
Kind of the same way I saw it.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a stand against the 4-1 favorite again. I don't necessarily like post 11 or not even post 10, to be honest with you. But again, I would definitely take the 10 over the 11 in just about every race, even though the 11 showed a little bit more early speed. If this was Santa Anita, yeah, probably. But since it's not, I would go the other direction.
And I will let everyone know that Ray agreed with us on the 2. He also agreed with us on the 10. God bless him. Ray actually put the 11 in, so Ray has the chalk on his ticket. And he also has the 3. So Ray also allotted to Michael Maker, Jimmy Graham, and Cajun Flyer. So 2, 3, 10, 11. You got Joan. I took that the 10, the 2, and the 8. If we have room, I just got the 2 and the 10.
Yep. While you're putting the template up, Rich, it's funny. I'm actually kind of shocked that we didn't do Los Alamitos today, because when I looked at the stake schedule on DRF.com, the Starlet and the Hollywood Juvenile weren't even listed as stakes races. I wonder if that was obviously a glaring omission, because otherwise I would definitely, heck, I would have done the Los Alamitos Champion of Champions card on Saturday and tomorrow night.
Well, for anyone who's watching, that actually, I'll play our pick 4 as part of the 3 broke guys. But as soon as we get done here, I'll be pulling the Los Al forms. I'll send them over to you, Joe, and to Ray as well. But I'm playing Los Al.
Well, actually, Formulator is actually giving them away for free. But if you want to send them over, I'm more than happy to take a look at them. But yeah, no, let's just put it this way: if you've watched any of the quarter horse races, or if you've watched He's a Dash of Fire at all, he's 3 to 5 morning line. He's going to be 1 to 9. He's a single. He's going to win. If he breaks well and he's standing at the finish, he wins. At least that's the way I see it. The only horse that I ever remember seeing that stayed close to him was Moonist, and Moonist unfortunately isn't with us any longer. So to me, it's a one-horse race, and basically you fill your pick four ticket around it. Hey, Rich, while you're putting up the template. Actually, maybe this is a question I should ask off air, but I'll ask on air anyway. It doesn't make much of a difference because I know you've been preoccupied lately. Is there a possibility that we could end up at Santa Anita on opening day on December 26th?
God, I'm hoping. I got to check with how my job, how things are going with my work and things like that. But yeah, I would like to. This is a nightmare. It's about 1 week before everything starts with us, and I'm hoping that they'll give us the day off. They'll have that day off. That's a national holiday.
Yeah, since Christmas falls on the Sunday, so I would think that would be a day off. I know it's a day off for me, and being that I have a new job, I start inventory bright and early at 6 o'clock the next morning. Well, hey, you know what? At least the one thing I guess I can say is I will beat the traffic. If nothing else, I will beat the traffic because I have to be there at 6 a.m. So, pulling up the stake schedule to see what's on tap for the 19th. I'm sorry, the 17th to see what if there's any. Oh, okay. It looks like there's. Okay, I think 1, 2.
All right, so let's see. In this first race, I just put up the 8 and the 9. Ray also has the 3 and the 6 on here. And you have the 6 and the 5. That way you're underneath horses.
I had 6, 5, and 12 in race 11, so that's everything that I had.
Yep, and that's in race 11. You've got the 5, the 6, and the 12. And Ray had the 5 and the 6, and I had the 5 and the 6. So we're okay in race 11. And in race 12, you had the 3 and the 12, so that's covered. And Ray had the 3, the 5, and the 12, and that's covered. I had the 10, but I actually ended up putting an extra that, and I've actually put the 12 on top. So we've got the 3, the 5, and the 12. And then in race,
so you're thinking not using Giacomo's song?
Oh, is that who it was? I couldn't tell who it was. I put the.
That was the 10 in race 12. Because I think that only makes the ticket 24. I think without him, it's an 8. I think it's 18.
And then in the last race, you had the 2 and the 10. You had the 8 if we had the room, and I had the 2 and the 10. And Ray's got the 2 and the 10. Ray's also got the 3 and the 11.
Okay.
So well, in the last race, I left off race 3 and 11. I left off his 3 and 6 in the first race.
2 by 3 by 4. So that's so that's a $24 ticket the way we currently have it, and that's reasonable enough for me. I think that makes sense, and I think we've got everything covered that we really want to have covered. I think.
All right. So for those of you who are playing along with us, we've got 8, 9 in race 10. In race 11, we've got 5, 6, 12. In race 12, we have the 3, the 5, the 10, and the 12. And in the finale, we have the 2 and the 10.
Yeah, just leave the template up there for just about another second. And okay, I have it written down. We're all good. We'll put the ticket in tomorrow.
Awesome.
The only thing about it is that I hate is that unfortunately, and TVG does not show Fairgrounds on its main channel. It's basically going to show Los Al, and it's going to show Gulfstream Park, and the future. I mean, I guess it picks and chooses. So if you're betting on TVG, you're probably better off going to the website if you want to watch the Fairgrounds races, unless you happen to have a cable company that actually will let you watch TVG too as well.
Or if you're like me, and you have another betting service, and you can just sit there and watch it on the closed caption, which I was able to do even during Breeders' Cup. I was actually able to watch through the other betting service.
Are we not mentioning them by name?
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of other betting services, but
yeah, no, I'm talking about Twin Spires.
Yeah, it's Twin Spires, Express Bet.
My primary one.
Yeah, Express Bet, DRF Bets. I'm not sure what DRF Bets shows for video, but yeah, no, I mean, it should be an interesting card at Louisiana Downs, but again, you're not going to be able to watch it on TVG, main TVG. So you're going to have to find another source to watch it. And maybe if at some point we get some Fairgrounds, some people down in Louisiana who are watching it, hey, you can always please send us comments and let us know what you think.
Absolutely. All right. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we'll be back next week when we get together and take a look at another exciting card. I just don't know which card that is just yet. But that's all the time we have for tonight. Joe, it's always a pleasure to handicap with you. I miss Ray, and hopefully we'll have him back next week.
I hope so. It's
all
good.
right.
It's good to have you back, though.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, sir. For Joe English and for Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.